Year-old Zimbabwean boy who was severely disfigured after a hyena attack has arrived in South Africa this afternoon. Rodwell Nkomazana was at a night church service in rural Masvingo, south of the capital, Harare, when the wild animal accosted him. He lost his eye, nose and part of his mouth during that attack. A team of South African doctors, including plastic surgeons, dental surgeons and pediatricians, have offered to assist with that reconstructive surgery for free. Nkomazana is expected to undergo the first operation on Monday to assess the extent of the damage. Another 2 surgeries have been set for next week, so doctors believe it may take up to 5 surgeries to complete that reconstruction. Let's chat now to one of the doctors who's part of the team, or he leads the team of plastic surgeons, Dr. Ridwan Mia. Doc, a very good evening to you. Thanks indeed for your time. I remember over the past week, quite a number of people had contacted me, telling me about the urgency that was needed for the surgery to be done. The 9-year-old boy is now in South Africa, and I guess this is the start of what you're hoping is going to be a very successful journey.
Yes, thank you. We're all very relieved that he managed to get here, and very grateful for all the private donations he's received. But yeah, daunting task lying ahead. His injuries are quite hectic. The hyena basically took off all of his nose. He lost his left eye in the process, part of his forehead, and most of his upper lip, and a bit of the lower lip as well, and the cheeks. So, lots of work ahead for us. But we've got a very good team of doctors, who've joined us. And pleased to say everyone's volunteered their services free of charge. And we're hoping that we're going to take this child through this journey and have him recover well in the end.
Doc, tell us what is expected. I understand the first surgery is on Monday. Talk us through how you're going to, I guess, begin, with this daunting task. When I saw the pictures, I was quite shocked at the level of damage that was done. What are you going to start with on Monday, basically?
So essentially, we would start with something called an examination under anesthesia, because, in order to get into the tissues and have a proper look and idea of what's exactly missing and the proportions and the depth of each injury, we would have to have the child under anesthesia. It would be very painful to do with him awake. So, we will do this with him asleep. It will also give us better control. We would be able to see what would bleed, what not, what vessels are still existing in the face, and then be able to allow us to complete our planning as to how we're going to fully reconstruct him in the end. The surgeries that are to follow during the week and ultimately next week, Saturday, those are going to be the big surgeries. So we want to be well prepared for those and know what exactly we're dealing with.
And I mean, how is he doing? I'm not sure if these pictures that are currently on our screen were when he left Zimbabwe or when he was arriving this afternoon, when our international editor, Sophie Mokoena, was there. But he seemed to have been on his iPad. How's he feeling? Is he feeling a bit upbeat about what he's about to undergo?
Yes, he does seem a bit pensive. He seems a little bit fearful, but overall quite excited. I think it's a new place, and he was happy to get on the plane journey. So we've just lost our okay. So he's actually doing quite well, and he's in good spirits, and his mum is there as well. She came along with us, and she was quite happy and excited at the same time. A little bit anxious about what procedures are to follow. But overall, I think they're looking forward to it, and they're quite happy, to be here and know that, something better is lying ahead.
Absolutely, and I see his mother sitting next to him. Obviously, she's hoping for the best with regard to this. So are many people. I mean, are you, at this point, Doc, asking for any more assistance? I know that when a call was made out to the SABC, we received many such requests. But of course, in this particular instance, I mean, the damage that was done there was, I don't know how you're going to be able to I'm not sure what is the correct word to use with your terminology to try and, get him back together again. This is a young man who obviously would want a very bright future ahead of him, and that's really going to, hinge on what he looks like after this and how long the surgery is going to take for us to see some kind of results. No pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's part of the challenge is to reconstruct. I think is the word you're looking for.
Yes.
His face or the various aspects of his face, so that he can have an adequate functional as well as a cosmetic result that will allow him to lead as normal a life as possible, to experience everything that normal children do. So there are various aspects to the reconstruction, and we have to make sure that clinically everything's ready for that. So the hard work lies not only in the actual procedures themselves, but actually in the actual surgical planning. So much assistance is needed in terms of funding for the child to get therapy afterwards to help him recuperate and rehabilitate. I think there's going to be quite a bit of occupational and physiotherapy to follow.
Yes.
Also psychological help, psychiatric help for mum as well as the child. Unfortunately, Rodwell lost his father last year. So mom's taking care of him on her own, and so this is even more traumatic for him and his mom. Our hearts do go out to them, and I think they're going to need a lot of help through this to be able to get to some degree of normality in their lives again. So some financial assistance, but I think mostly it's going to be support from the communities and medical help as he goes along and as he grows, and gets older.
Yeah, Doctor, I think you did touch on this just very briefly, but, how difficult is it to get this kind of surgery underway, taking a look at the injuries that he sustained during this attack? How difficult is it to even begin with this kind of surgery?
Sure, it is very difficult. I mean, firstly, we had to assemble a team of various specialists. So we have an ENT surgeon, we have a maxillofacial surgeon, obviously plastic surgery, and anesthetists who specialize in anesthetizing children, and also a specialist pediatrician to look after him in this time. So there's a big team of at least 7 of us at the moment, or doctors who volunteered to do their best to reconstruct and help this child through this process, but also various nurses, and we've had dressings nurses and wound care nurses, as well as physiotherapists and so on, but also getting prosthetists. We're going to have to refashion or remake an eye socket for him so that he can put a prosthetic eye into there. So we're having somebody make a prosthetic eye for him as well, which will also help that process. And even just down the line in terms of his taking care of his wounds and the scars and stitches and that sort of thing, is going to need a lot of help with it. So it's quite a difficult process to logistically, number one, but medically planning and carrying out all the procedures. He's being housed at the Mediclinic Center, and that's where he's going to have his surgery. And Mediclinic was very gracious and very generous in offering their support as well. When they heard about the plight, I have to say hats off to Sister Makshuda Kaji from the Medivac agency that has helped to bring him through today. A colleague of ours, Dr. Simon Sami, joined her today, and they brought Rodwell and his mum through, and they really did an amazing job, just getting everybody together, getting all this whole team to function together. It's difficult at the best of times, to assemble a team like this for such a case. So to bring a child from another country, have this done, and hopefully get him home in time and have him recover well will be quite a task.
Doctor, I must commend you. While you commend your colleagues, we must commend you for the work that you're doing. I'm sure that the family will indeed appreciate it, and I think in the mammoth task that you already had to try and get him here, you've managed to do that already, and we're really hoping, we're holding thumbs, that all the processes or series of surgery that you will now undertake, or that Rodwell will undergo, will be a great success. Thank you very much indeed, and pass my regards to Masuda as well, who reached out to the SABC as well on this particular story. Thank you very much for all the good work that you're doing. Dr. Ridwan Mia, one of the doctors involved in that very complicated surgery that will be taking place, the 9-year-old Zimbabwean boy arriving in South Africa for reconstructive surgery after being mauled by a hyena in Zimbabwe. Let's move on.